Hey everybody, and welcome to the Brandon and Son
Ishmael Review Channel. And today we are here with our cousin, Andrew.
Hello.
What's your name?
Andrew.
Andrew.
Yeah, he's Andrew.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just Andrew.
Yes, today we're going to be doing a video on the crazy theories going into The Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9, Star Wars. Anybody off the bat have their own crazy theories or anything that they're looking forward to in the movie?
Ray. Oh, you go first.
No, you go first.
Okay.
Somebody go first. Rock, paper, scissors.
Ray and Kylo. Their big battle at the end.
Mm-hmm. Do either of y'all think Kylo and Rey could be related?
No.
No.
That's too obvious.
That's too obvious. Yeah. Like what he said. I think she's gonna kill Kylo Ren, and then the Sith is gonna be like, yeah, you should kill him because you're gonna turn bad and you can be the king. And then she's probably gonna be like, oh yeah, I want all the power, and then boom, she's the king.
Which Sith?
Palpatine.
Palpatine, Senator Palpatine? Well, not Senator anymore, but Lord Palpatine, Sith ruler.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think, Andrew?
I don't really know. There's so many things that could happen.
Do y'all think, would y'all want to see a Kylo and Rey team up against possibly Palpatine?
No, that's too obvious. It's too, like,
Right.
because as you've seen in the Rise of Skywalker, what's the other one?
Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi, they worked together. They were, like, sharing powers.
Yeah.
So, it would be a little too obvious that if they fight Palpatine together.
It'd be just too much of the same again.
Yeah, I think she's probably gonna kill him, or Palpatine kills him.
You think that could happen,
Could be.
Andrew?
Yeah.
Or remember C-3PO? His eyes were red, and so
Yeah.
what if he goes rogue?
I don't think that would be a good idea either to have Rey and Kylo team up again because they've already done it once. But I think Palpatine coming back is the big what's going on here moment. Like we're all wondering, is he going to be like a physical form, you think, or is he going to be like a Force ghost, or is he going to be like, I know on the books, I think in some of the animated shows, like he comes back into the droids.
Yeah.
Like his consciousness was saved into some of the droids, like uploaded into the machines.
Like that dude from Captain America?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're bringing Marvel into this.
Who was it? Which one?
Edmund Zola.
Edmund
Zola?
Zola.
He was the one
Zola.
Oh, my
He
bad.
was the one in
Edmund
the
Zola. My bad.
computer during.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he put himself into like this stuff and
To the system, the
Yeah.
Hydra. Yeah, I mean that could be a possibility.
Or he could be in someone's head.
Yeah.
In Kylo's
Or
head.
what if after they threw him off, what if there was like this random soldier and he got him and he like healed him up and then he froze him, and then after that time they unfroze him and he came back.
Well, I mean that wouldn't be the craziest theory. I've heard a lot crazier theories that we're actually going to get into. Yeah, but the big question is, why is Palpatine back? Is he going to be a Force ghost? Is he going to be a physical form? One thing that's come up as a crazy theory is something called the Wayfinder. Have either of y'all heard of the Wayfinder or know what that is?
Can I take a guess?
Sure.
It's a droid.
It's a droid?
Yeah.
The Wayfinder?
Yeah.
What do you think,
The
Andrew?
Sith artifact.
It's an artifact?
A
Yeah.
ship.
I don't think it's a ship. I mean, maybe it could be something called the Wayfinder. But what I've researched and what I've found watching other videos is that it's like a Sith artifact. It's like a compass-like device to actually find Palpatine's hidden fleet. Because supposedly, in the new Star Wars trailer, whenever you see the fleet of Star Destroyers, there shouldn't be any more Star Destroyers. Because since the First Order take over, they're not using that's like old technology.
So do you think it's gonna be like Gears 5, that they go back and where it all began, and they probably found the Sith remain, and they put it back together because now it's new technology, so they sewed them back together. They gave him his life back, and then they found all his stuff that he had, like the Star Destroyers, and they brought the whole First Order again.
Yeah. Well, we haven't played Gears 5 yet, but I mean,
We heard about it. It's in the trailer.
yeah, it could be, but like I said, from what I've heard, they're trying to find the Wayfinder so they can figure out where Palpatine. That's actually another thing I have in here is where have the Knights of Ren been? We've never seen them. We've heard of them.
What's that?
But the Knights of Ren is what Kylo is leading. Like those were supposed to be his
The
friends.
red ones? The red ones that had like the red suit and they had the red.
No, those were Snoke's personal guards. The Knights of Ren we saw in The Force Awakens whenever Kylo turned on Luke, and then he had all those guys with him, and they destroyed the
But
They
were just
destroyed the
men. They were
village?
just like regular.
Well, that's supposed to be the Knights of Ren. We've never met them, but we've heard of them.
What Finn? FN2817.
No, that's not.
He's just stormtrooper.
Yeah. Well, what do you think the Knights of Ren have been? What have they been doing?
They've been dead.
Well, another thing I've heard is the Knights of Ren have been looking for the Wayfinder so they can find Palpatine, so they can find his fleet, so then they can use all that against the rebellion.
The rebellion is the good guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do y'all think that's a possibility that the Knights of Ren have been out looking for this Wayfinder so they could find Palpatine's fleet?
They probably did.
Yeah.
They probably, that's like what I said. They were finding him going back all the way from the beginning. Cause where did he die, Palpatine? Didn't he die like in a star?
He died on the second Death Star.
So you know the fight where they were fighting.
Mm-hmm.
They probably were there, and she was probably defending the Death Star for he cannot go, and so he probably went underwater and tried to find that dude, and then he made him. He found him. He made her kill him, and then boom, he's back to life in the First Order. He's back.
Or maybe they're fighting. Whoever wins will get it. Maybe they're both going to find it, and then they run into each other because they're both trying to find it. Rey's trying to keep them from finding it to find the fleet, and they're trying to find it to get to the fleet. That could be a possibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's
They
so
all
many possible
get together and
possibilities.
have a big battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing I was, just like I said, reading about and researched and heard about is, like, the main thing with the Wayfinder is to try to find Palpatine's contingency plan. Like I said, if he was to get killed, he still wanted to live on somehow. You know, like I said, we still don't know how he's going to live on, but we do know he's going to be in the movie.
Or what if back when in the second Death Star, probably back and behind all the scenes, he was probably making the First Order build like a ship, and they entered a chip inside of a droid, and whenever he dies, the sensor will come on.
C-3PO.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be why C-3PO's eyes are red. That's another thing I've heard is they try to reprogram him, and then he goes into battle mode. But it also could be why his eyes went red is because I mean, Anakin built him, not Darth Vader, who died. You know, he built him not knowing. Maybe he inserted something in the C-3PO, not knowing what it was, like Order 66.
What if they all came back? What if Darth Vader came back too?
I don't think they'll do that.
Yeah, I don't know, but Darth Vader has literally been in like every Star Wars movie. He's been mentioned or in it, so.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'll bring
What
Darth
if
Vader
they
back.
made a droid that basically looked like his old suit, and then they entered a chip like Palpatine, and he comes back as a droid too?
I don't know. Like I said, I know I've seen in like I think it's Rebels where Palpatine, like it'll be a droid, it'll be like a hologram of his face, and it'll be like him giving orders still, like he's still alive.
Yeah, but that's gonna be too freaky.
Well, maybe that's what Star Wars needs is
Yeah.
freaky because not that many people like The Last Jedi, so maybe they need something new to come in here to freshen
The
it up
Last
a little
Jedi
bit.
was a little too boring because it was too much of the storyline. The storyline was gibberish. It was all over the place.
Yeah, and they had too much crazy stuff happening, like Leia flying through the air. Like I don't know how that's happening.
Yeah, like how is she a Force ghost? How is she like part of the Force? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that leads me to another thing I've heard is that Leia is going to be training Rey. Like we're actually going to see Leia using some of her Force abilities, and she's going to be training Rey. Like in that forest scene we saw when she was throwing the lightsaber, like Leia's going to be there training her. Do y'all think that's a possibility?
It could be
Maybe.
because Leia revived herself from the big explosion.
Like I said, she's flying through the air. Never
Yeah,
seen
maybe
that.
she and Luke had some kind of connection.
She was
with the
Jesus.
Force.
Yeah, no, they definitely did, but we never got to see Leia in action.
Yeah, Leia turned into Jesus.
Jesus, who's that?
Jesus.
Jesus? Oh my god. But yeah, I mean, I think that could be pretty cool to see. Maybe it'll show flashback, could be, or it could show Leia actually dueling with a lightsaber, but I don't know if I would believe that. I couldn't see Leia out there doing flips and like doing lightsaber duels.
Are there any
She's
other
too
Jedis?
There's another Jedi from The Last Jedi. There was this little kid.
Oh yeah, but I mean with the group.
But he's not a Jedi now. He could be in the future, but out of everybody now,
I think it's just.
But still, I think his daddy was Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I don't know. I think that's grasping for straws too far out there.
Or his mom is Rey.
Okay.
No, I just think they showed that kid just to be like, there is a possibility for future Jedis, and there are people out there that aren't Jedis that are kids that are Force sensitive that could be Force users in the future. I just think that's what that was setting up.
There's still hope.
Yeah.
There's still hope in the future.
Because would Rey be considered a Jedi now, or does she still need more training, do you think?
She is a Jedi since she uses the Force now, but she kept going to the dark side a lot. So, because didn't she went back into the ocean because of the dark, was telling her to go in there, try to find her parents, but then nothing happened? What if her dad was Palpatine? Formed out of clay.
No, not Clay. I know you mentioned that in our other video, but I think she could be a clone. Like I said, the craziest theory I've heard is that they took DNA from Luke's severed arm when he fought Darth Vader. Yeah, in The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
But that sounds too crazy, right?
No, it actually sounds like I said, they wanted to make it more freaky. So that's how you make the movie freaky, and you're gonna be mind blown, and your head's gonna be hurting after the whole movie because there's gonna be so much information coming out.
Yeah, my mind would be hurting after that, right?
Yeah.
If you saw something like that. But yeah, the Wayfinder could also hold the key to finding Palpatine's spirit. Like I said, I don't know how they're gonna pull that off. Like I said, his mind and consciousness could have been put into a droid. Like I said, we don't know it. Possibly C-3PO. That's why his eyes are red. Possibly something we haven't seen.
What if they put Luke's Force Ghost into R2-D2? Since it's his.
I don't know. They could show the Force Ghost with Anakin. Could have.
Yeah, Anakin can probably come back with his ugly burnt self.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they show him burnt, but I've heard rumors too that Hayden Christensen could come back as a Force Ghost.
He looked like a burnt chicken nugget.
Oh my gosh, you think he could come back?
Wasn't he
as an old Darth Vader?
Which one was he? He was the little kid.
No, he was the good-looking Anakin.
Well, he started off as a kid, of course, in the Phantom Menace, and then by the time they got to Revenge of the Sith, he was a little older.
Yeah, I think that guy.
He was actually pretty good-looking though, as a Jedi.
I think he was a handsome, strapping lad. But getting back to another thing I was thinking about is the reason why they're going back to the wreckage of the second Death Star, is to find either the Wayfinder or they're trying to find more information on Palpatine. Like Palpatine, maybe in his, I don't know, his office or his main place like he stayed. Maybe he had...
Headquarters.
Yeah, his headquarters. Maybe he had information or like his consciousness there or something like that.
But it wouldn't make sense because it was in the ocean. And it's been how many years since Palpatine's been dead?
Maybe not all of it.
30? Well, another thing I was thinking about is whenever we saw the second Death Star destroyed, it blew up into 1,000,000 trillion pieces. Like, how could they go back to the remains on... I don't know if it's the moon of Endor or it's actually Endor that they're going to, but how could there still be wreckage if it just... I thought everything was incinerated and just blown up.
Wait, the second Death Star exploded in the New Hope, right?
No, Return of the Jedi.
That's the second movie.
What do you think, Andrew? How is there still pieces of it there?
I think that the Death Star was bigger than we thought, and the explosion was smaller. So there's still pieces everywhere around.
So it looked like it destroyed and incinerated the whole thing, but it was actually maybe 3/4 of it.
Yeah.
Could be.
What if one part was still on?
Was what?
Like, it was still working? There was still a little bit of power in there.
Well, yeah, I think that's why they're going there. Because they're trying to find something in the remains of the Death Star. They're trying to find something about Palpatine in there.
Okay, I don't want this to sound ridiculous, but I'm going back to another Marvel thing. What if, remember like when Thanos used the stone, they got a signal through Earth that the stones were being used.
Yeah.
What if they got a signal that the Death Star was turning on, that someone was probably messing with it, and then Ray went to go check it out, and then he found that big nose dude. What's his name?
Snoke?
Oh, Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren? Well, I do think the Knights of Ren are. I think the Knights of Ren are gonna be a big part of this. Like I said, I don't know specifically. Like I said, we've never met them. I think we're gonna get to meet them this movie, but I think they have been looking for Palpatine's remains or trying to find the new fleet or how to get. Like I said, find the other Star Destroyers, which we find.
What if
We've seen the trailer.
What if the side that Palpatine was on didn't explode, and all it was just his body that smacked down?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if his body's gonna come back. I do think it's gonna be more of a spirit or like a Force ghost that's inside of a droid, or it could be inside this artifact or something they find.
What if he revives? Since he's like lightning, it can be freaking Frankenstein
Yeah, I don't know.
or Jason.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, like I said, like I've heard, it's more like a compass device.
So yeah, as we said, it's probably not gonna come back as a Force ghost instead of
Like I said, or he could be inside of some kind of artifact, and somehow he implants himself into a droid or possibly a person. But we haven't seen that in a Star Wars movie before, so
Yeah.
I don't know if that's possible.
Can he control minds?
No, he doesn't have that power.
So what are his powers?
Well, they
Lightning?
do. Like, they can tell a weak-minded person to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to be weak-minded.
So who's the weak mind?
Please don't bring Jar Jar
No.
Binks back.
Jar Jar
No,
Binks.
no.
He's stupid.
C-3PO is my Jar Jar Binks. C-3PO is annoying. I don't really like him.
They
R2-D2, you're my guy. I love you.
But maybe C-3PO is weak-minded because all he does is cry like.
But he's a droid, though. I think it has to be like I take that back. Because back in Force Awakens, Qui-Gon Jinn was able to kind of do it on the creature that Anakin was working for. So I'm not saying it has to be a human, but I don't know if it could be a droid. Because a droid doesn't have a soul or a mind or conscience.
But it
like
has
that.
It still has a working body though.
Yeah. I don't know. We haven't seen how that works out, so I'm not sure.
Or what if they find remains of him, of Palpatine, they build a droid and they put some of his remains, like remember from the burnt chicken nugget dude, the Anakin Skywalker, they put all his remains that were burnt, they put him into a robotic thing. What if they put like his organ, his heart or something like that, and they make it beat back again, and then he's back as a droid with all his organs inside like RoboCop.
Yeah, I don't know, because we never see... Of course, we don't see Palpatine's body. We don't know if his body was destroyed, incinerated.
I just don't want to see his ugly face again.
I mean, it could be parts of his bodies were still in the Death Star, and then they find his body and somehow revive him. Maybe that's a possibility.
I think maybe Ray was looking into it too much, and he kind of got into her head, and then he was making her go to the Death Star.
Yeah, like calling her.
Yeah.
Or what if she found like a thing, and then she was the first one there, and then Kylo Ren came, but then she went down into the Death Star, and then Palpatine was just a ghost there haunting that place, and he probably went inside of her, and then like he started like changing up her mindset, making her evil, showing her like what he did to Anakin, making him turn cuckoo and all that stuff.
Well, do think that's possible because I do think like the vision of her with the red lightsaber. I do think that's more of a vision or more like this is what you could be. This is what could happen. Maybe Palpatine puts that into her head.
Yeah, this is the power that you'll have if you're with
That's
me.
That's exactly what he did to Anakin.
Because I do think it's connected with whenever Rey was training with Luke and she did go right to the dark, Luke was like, you went straight to the dark, you didn't even fight it. So I do think there's something in Rey that could be there's a dark side of her that we haven't seen yet, but maybe Palpatine's going to try to manipulate. And we could see that struggle with her trying not to go bad. Another thing I was thinking of is whenever about Rey going to the dark side is whenever she was with Luke and then she goes down to the cave after that and she sees all the clones of her, like she thinks it's going to be her parents they're showing, but it's actually all the clones. You think that's connected, like that's trying to throw us a hint that she is a clone? And maybe they've been trying to clone her, maybe it hasn't happened or gone the way they thought, but this is the clone that actually...
But it shows her as a little girl.
Yeah, well,
if you clone someone, they're going to be the same age. Like, if I clone you, they're going to be the same age.
No, because whenever they did the clones for the Stormtroopers, they all start off as little kids. Because remember, who was the bounty hunter?
Jar Jar Binks. No, Boba Fett.
No, but it wasn't Boba. Boba Fett was the kid.
Wait.
It was Jango Fett.
Jango Fett, yeah.
And remember, he made his own clone, but the clone was the kid. So they start off as kids, and then they grow up.
You really mean that Boba Fett was not a real dude?
He was a clone.
That's disgusting.
So he was actually one of the clones from the Stormtroopers. Yeah. Boba Fett was, the bounty hunter guy. But do y'all think maybe that could be connected, that Rey is a clone, possibly?
What if Jango Fett's wife, he killed her, and then he made a clone of her, and he left her when he was a baby in that ugly planet that was poor, and then she grew up there, and she was just all alone.
I don't know if the timeline matches up with that, because the Clone Wars movie was way before that, because these movies are 30 years after Return of the Jedi, and this is in the prequels, so I think that timeline doesn't match up. The Boba Fett thing, I don't think it connects, but I mean the clone thing is kind of interesting, that Rey could possibly be a clone, maybe Palpatine. I don't think that theory is going to work, that they use part of Luke's DNA from his hand. I think that's kind of ridiculous. But
that's retarded. But
somehow it could be true. I don't know. And do y'all think Snoke is connected by any chance? I've heard theories that Snoke was actually Palpatine. Like Palpatine was inside Snoke. Y'all think that's?
I don't know. Because Snoke died too quickly.
No, but Snoke's been around for a long time. That's why he was so old.
Yeah, supposedly.
Wasn't he? Who was the person when Anakin Skywalker had to kill the dude with the two lightsabers and he chopped him off like scissors? Who was that dude in the room that told him to do it? Was it Palpatine?
Yeah, that was Palpatine. We didn't know at the time it was Palpatine, but I mean, people knew, but they didn't know in the movie. So y'all don't think Snoke? I mean, I don't think it either. But y'all don't think Palpatine's inside Snoke, like took over his body, right?
No. So that deserty planet, all right? What's it called?
It wasn't Tatooine.
It was Jakku.
Jakku, there you go.
And then, so, you know that big dude that sold Rey the portions?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he's with the First Order. Because when they dropped off Rey as a little girl, she was like 5, 4, 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was the one that was holding her when she was running from her parents. Well,
the people dropped her off and he was like, quiet girl. She was like, Mommy, Daddy.
Did she?
Right?
No.
I don't know, I'm just saying.
Yeah. But what if that could be connected to Palpatine or like Snoke?
Like, what were you saying? That he could have
Palpatine could have created a bunch of Reys, but then they didn't go as he planned, so then he sold them off and destroyed some of them.
He thought like, I'll sell you the defective one.
Yeah.
Like, I'll sell you the best one, and then he probably killed the rest that didn't form correctly or anything. He didn't probably sell them, he just killed them all.
Because I would think if it was like a perfect clone, he would have kept that one, right?
Yeah.
So maybe he sold off a defective clone. Uh-oh, something's happening over here.
What if he made like he said, he made multiple clones, right? Maybe the Rey that we saw that's holding the red lightsaber is not the Rey that we know.
Yeah.
What if that's the Rey that's a good clone, it followed all his orders?
Well, yeah, it could be the bad clone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then she has the Rey clone that's the good one, and they go fist on, and they die.
I mean, I have heard that too, that we could have Rey on Rey action.
And then, what's his name? Palpatine is telling her, like, he's coaching the bad Rey, and then, like, Kylo Ren is coaching the good Rey, and he's, like, teaching her the way.
No, I don't think Kylo would be helping
or
her.
Leia.
Yeah, we're not sure how this is going to connect, but this is just some of our crazy theories, some of the theories we've heard. Just wanted to go over some discussion. Like I said, I even titled it Crazy Theories for the Rise of Skywalker. But whenever another trailer comes out, we'll do another video. I like doing this. We kind of did it a little bit differently. Kind of like a roundtable discussion.
Leave it in the comments if you like it this way or the other way. I preferably like this way. Do you like this way?
Yeah, this way's better.
Yeah, it's better. We get to look at the beautiful faces.
Yeah, and then we'll get Andrew in for another video in the future.
Yeah.
Actually, me and Andrew are gonna go right after this video into our Joker video for the trailer.
I'm not gonna be in that one, sorry, but I'm gonna make cameos.
Yeah, because he can't watch it because it's gonna be rated R.
But I'm gonna make cameos, so
Yeah.
stay tuned.
But if you would like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Peace.